Ankita. Now, business management is one particular career option that has evolved much over the last few years. Today, your options are not just limited to the traditional firms, that is finance or marketing. There is so much more that you can explore. And today, to discuss this very topic, I'm in the Jain Institute of Management and Research College. So let's find out what these people have to say. So, can you tell me, let's start off with what does a modern business need?
I would say that a modern business requires four things. First is you would require a team to go into the field and understand the customer, because customer is the king these days. Customer centricity is one of the biggest aspects of any business these days. The second would be a team which could think about different multiple stakeholders and build a model such that every stakeholder results in a win-win situation, right? The third is basically effective implementation. There are already a lot of ideas in the field, but effective implementation is what can actually differentiate you from your competitors. And fourthly, this is majorly for businesses that are expanding, globalization.
Okay.
If you look at leaders like Vishal Sikka, if you look at Satya Nadella, all these leaders have a global perspective, and that is why MNCs are bringing them into the leadership.
All right. Do you want to add something to that? Anything more that you have to say?
Yeah, I would like to get into the specific part of it because I am a doctor. Basically, I've done my MBBS, and to be frank, initially in the earlier days, it was more about only doctor-patient relationship. Today, the healthcare sector has grown a lot. It's not just related to a doctor and patient. It's more to do with health, pharma, insurance, and various other domains which need to be integrated. So the modern business in healthcare especially needs a lot of integration and structured approach. So I think as a doctor, I would get an opportunity to learn all these things in the business management school over here, and maybe I can implement it in my healthcare domain or sector wherever I would like to go ahead and work.
So the topic that he focused on is you need to know, a formal training in this. But do you agree with that? Do you need a formal training to, let's say, go ahead and make your mark in the business world?
Yeah, I think while it's really important to have that innate business sense and intuition for business, but at the same time, formal education gives you a much needed polish and it sort of helps you structure your ideas thereon. And moreover, the environment in a business school provides a lot of opportunities for networking and peer learning, which are also extremely invaluable, from there on.
Do you agree with her?
Yeah, primarily the organizations nowadays expect us to possess a minimum level of skill set which would help us in the organizations to make decisions. But at the same time, when we move higher up in the organization, the decisions become more qualitative rather than quantitative. And that's when your innate business skills and your negotiation skills come into play. And those skills, I think, are something which we learn on the job. And no MBA school, I think, can provide us with that skill set, which is
Okay.
like primarily to make qualitative decisions successful.
All right. Most successful businesses have guys with little or no exposure to business management as a formal course. Do you think it's needed? Like having a formal course like this is needed to give you that push into your business?
Well, I think it's kind of subjective because at some point of time you do need a formal training because it helps you progress through certain challenges that you face. Obviously, if you don't have a formal training also, you will sail through it, but maybe you might take some more time and you might make a few mistakes and learn from them. What a formal training might do is give you more resources and more tools with which you can either reduce that duration of hardship or maybe you will get access to a network which makes your life fair bit easier. So I think that way is an MBA or a formal degree in management kind of helps startup founders as well.
All right. So now another trend that we've been seeing over the last couple of years is that you have a lot of management schools mushrooming across the country. Now, this is sort of similar to what happened with engineering and medical. So do you think, is the quality part being compromised on? Are we focusing more on the quantity?
So if you see in the 90s, there were a lot of engineering colleges because that was what the country needed at that point of time. We were developing, we just opened our economy. So we needed a lot of engineers to develop our services and our infrastructure. But right now, we see that most of the companies, they do have a lot of engineers, but they do lack in the management capabilities, which is why a lot of management colleges have opened up because that is where the demand is right now. So I would not necessarily say that the quality is going down. It's just that we are catering to the demand because after all, our country does have a huge population and we are growing at a very rapid pace.
Many business schools these days have been starting with the intention to start a business school and make money, but people know that there are a lot of agencies out there who do their ratings, and each of these colleges hold a rating. It's not that the quantity is increasing with the quality going down. There are these top institutions which still offer quality MBAs. And again, with the quantity going up, probably there are companies looking at people who possess these degrees and would like to groom them later on.
So another thing here I wanted to ask you is, with this whole trend coming in, is it because of peer pressure? Let's say, your friends and people you know around you, people who are becoming successful, they're doing MBA. So is that one of the reasons why people just go into this field?
Yeah, initially, you might say that people join MBAs because of the peer pressure and all. Because when you see your college mates or your schoolmates earning more than you, and that too because of doing specialized courses in MBA or certain things, then it gives you an initial push to do such things. But uh, this is something that you have to pursue throughout your life. So that peer pressure doesn't work throughout your life. So you have to get some inner motivation that drives you throughout your life to do the same thing again and again.
All right. So you're the one who said that, you're a doctor and, you want to use this in a different particular field altogether. So my question to you is, we're having specializations like MBA in offbeat courses, real estate, anything for that matter, if you just think about it. So is so much of specialization needed?
Yeah, actually in a MBA school we get a lot of training related to healthcare sector, various FMCG sectors and e-commerce and everything. But you actually need a niche MBA for like for example there is a healthcare MBA in some of the colleges, which is very important for doctors who can get into it and directly get the uh, overall picture of healthcare sector rather than focusing on multiple sectors. They get an overall picture of one particular sector because that is where their passion is, that is where they want to work in future.
So do you agree with him? Do you think so much of specialization is needed?
Yeah, truly. I believe that there is a degree to which you can, diversify your course in the sense that the kind of specialization you're offering. For example, SPGen offers a specialization in information management, which is not available across a lot of colleges. So that makes a lot of sense because like businesses across are integrating IT into their systems, and IT is becoming the thing. So this is the kind of specialization which is probably needed. And then there are specializations which are just there. I think it's less about specialization and it has become more about commercialization there.
So now one particular course that has taken off quite a bit is entrepreneurship, thanks to the whole entrepreneurship culture that's coming up in our country. So do you think a management course in entrepreneurship is needed? Because the same thing, pretty much a similar thing is taught in finance. Let's say how to manage your, company's finances. So what's the difference?
So basically, to be a successful entrepreneur is what I think is, uh, I think you need passion the most. But a course in management for entrepreneurs, especially, I think it will help them start up very well because as an entrepreneur, you're not exposed to the industry as a whole and the market scenario as a whole. But if you're taught a specialized course in entrepreneurship, definitely I think it will help them. But to succeed as an entrepreneur, I think the passion and dedication is what is needed the most.
Okay. So are we going to see more demand in these sort of courses? I mean, people taking up entrepreneurship courses?
Yeah, surely. If you see the culture, it's drastically changing, and especially after the new government in India, the Modi government, a lot of entrepreneurs are now coming up and trying to pursue their passion, trying to build something of their own. So all these things are, you know, typically more to do with a specialized course in entrepreneurship. So that to learn that you will certainly have to go with a specialized course.
All right. So one thing that we've been seeing is the fact that, when people come for campus placements, when they go in for campus placements, they turn down jobs to venture out and start their own business. And sometimes the paycheck is huge. So you just don't think about that because you want to start off something on your own. Is that a wise decision?
Depends on what these candidates are looking for. Like, for example, I mean, if you're looking for something specific in the company and you don't really get what you're looking for, then it's wise to turn down because you're looking at some other better options. But if you just applied for it because there was a possibility there, then you turned it down, then I think that's not kind of a very strong thought because you need to be clear on what you want to do, why you're applying for a particular role, what are the prospects, and what would you do otherwise if not that role. So once you're clear on all this, if you don't get what you want, I think it's wise to turn down. But if you get what you want, you should in fact pursue it.
Any other reason, do you think?
With the new government coming in, the business environment is relaxing, regulations are being relaxed. So what's happening is there are several global as well as national investors who are ready to fund these new ventures. So that is kind of facilitating the the rise of entrepreneurships, and I also believe that the passion that these students have is driving them to reject those hefty packages and take up their interests.
All right. So, if let's say when you're going to get a job, would you rather go for an Indian MNC or a global, like a global company? So, what would be your criteria that you're looking at?
I think it depends on how we define Indian MNCs and global MNCs. In fact, I believe there's no particular difference between these two. Indian companies are going abroad, setting up shops outside. So it's basically there's no difference between these two. It's only that the culture might be different, and it's up to the individual to decide which job he or she wants to take up.
Adding to what he said, actually, I feel what is really important is that India is a very exciting place to be at the moment with lots of opportunities. And I think most of these global MNCs are also making an increasing, being increasingly present in India at the moment and expanding their footprint. So I think it would be better perhaps to work in India now, because there would be the number of opportunities present in India are, or rather in Asia Pacific region, is much more than anywhere else, because the growth rates over here which we are experiencing in India or in the neighboring regions are much higher as in other parts of the world. So I think as far as opportunities are concerned, I would rather be looking at India than somewhere abroad.
So, yeah, I would ask this to you. So, basically, if let's say you are getting a degree from abroad in management, do you think that helps you adapt better to the business in India, or should you preferably, if you're looking to work in India, should you preferably go for a degree in an Indian college?
Okay. So, first of all, if we are comparing broad B schools versus Indian B schools, what I feel is that it is a very personal decision where you finally want to work. Now, if you want to work globally and you want to have that leverage where you can move in different geographies, I think the Ivy League, yes, provides you with that platform because they are well known, traditional, renowned. But I think at the same time, Indian B schools have reinvented themselves. I think the courses and everything, by the time has passed, it has, been more contemporary now. And I think if you are looking for working in India and in Indian conditions, I think yes, Indian B schools are no less than abroad. So I think you should prefer Indian schools over B schools.